Bust of Destiny is on the horizon here, and we're going to be talking about the top 5 decks that I'm actually excited to kind of mess around with from this set. And I guarantee you a lot of you guys are going to be feeling that there's a lot of good stuff in this set and not really a lot of time to mess around with the cool ideas from here. But let's dig on into this, shall we? Smash the like button, subscribe, and so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. The first archetype I want to talk about here is the Xinyan Sword Masters, just Xinyan in general. So basically, this whole archetype basically hinders or goes on the premise of wanting to summon this Worm Tuner level 4 token. Now, the fact that every one of the monsters basically is able to turn into a relatively larger synchro monster for effectively free. Check. Alright. The level 4 here is probably far one of the most interesting. You just literally banish a Xinyan or a worm monster from a graveyard to special summon the token. And that token, like I said, is a water level 4 tuner monster. And then the downside is you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for synchro monsters while that token is on the field. So it actually kind of creates a little bit of a soft lock, but that's fine because you're going to be synchro climbing with this. Now, across the entire archetype, you'll be able to make multiple different levels of synchro monsters in this archetype, which actually gives you different lines of play that you can do. So, is that an entire archetype that wants to make Boxia? Yes. Yes, it is. It also, depending on how things go in future builds, maybe you'll be able to use Yazi in a way to go second, break boards, because you know how great Yazi into Mare was in previous formats. Yeah, and by crazy, how unfair it was watching this monster, pop 2 cards on both sides of the field, and then out comes the Mare, and now your opponent is link climbing, and now I'm having PTSD right now, actually. That's how crazy dealing with that stupid monster was in my life. So, yeah, the first deck here is definitely one of the most hyped decks out of this entire set. Number 2 on our list here is actually going to be Floundering. Yay! So what happens when you have an entire deck that is just normal summon, normal summon, normal summon? Well, you have a monster that searches for any level 4 wing beast. You have another monster in your deck that tutors for any level 7 or higher wing beast. And you got a big penguin that also searches for any spell and trap card for the whole archetype. You get access to Barrier Statue of Storm Winds. So when you have a deck that can actually, so Rabina, the level 4, or the little guy, searches for, the Barrier Statue, and you go ahead and normal summon the Searcher, search for the big penguin, and you go ahead and do the next Searcher. Alright, you summon the penguin, search for another normal summon, so you stick the Barrier Statue on the kid. So you end on like M-Pen, and which is the penguin, and the Barrier Statue. And then you also have your spells and traps for the deck. So you have one that you contribute your opponent's monsters, and then you can send cards back. And then you get this stupid trap card that lets you normal summon during your opponent's turn. Well, that whole normal summon then ends on like a chain of Risas, or a Risa that like interrupts the opponent. Or you have a card that literally says when your opponent would summon, you get the ability to jam them. Alright, so basically when your opponent would special summon, inherently, you bounce that monster back, your opponent can't special summon for the rest of the turn, and then they get 3 additional normal summons. Well, what am I going to be able to do if my extra deck is locked? One of my monarchs to you here? Alright, the 3 additional normal summons is just a little bit of icing on the cake, because unfortunately, without the resource pile that is the extra deck, they actually can't do anything, which is... Oh, sorry, that's how long it took me to normal summon and play my entire turn. Alright, next up here is the Destiny Hero support. Now, you guys thought that having the ability to make a new monster in a way to recycle Malicious would put this deck back on the map. Well, the OCG would like to have a word with you. So, the new Destiny Hero, Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. It's a level 6 or higher hero monster. And one Destiny Hero monster. You know who's a level 6 or higher hero monster? Malicious. Shucky darn, I just got to mill off another Destiny Hero monster. Monster your opponent controls lose 200 attack for each hero or card in your graveyard. Sure, man, that's fine. You can only use each of the following effects of this Phoenix Enforcer once per turn. So quick effect, you can destroy both one card you control and one card on the field. And if this card on the field is destroyed by battle card effect, you can special summon a Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard during your next standby phase. Is that floatability in my deck? The deck also now has access to recycling Malicious one more time. One of the biggest things that we've seen with Malicious in its time is it being too generic. Alright, so basically they went ahead and fixed the problem of we need a way to be able to safely recycle Malicious so that it can be used a third time in Heroes. So the cool thing with all the new stuff is it's all just fuel for plasma. Alright, the new build gets the ability to consistently, one Fusion Destiny puts 3 monsters on the field between a Malicious, the new guy that recycles the Malicious, and the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, in which you can distribute all 3 and effectively deploy Plasma for no issue. And then if you've got D-Force, then you'll be able to use Plasma as the strong, intended, crazy boss monster that it was actually meant to be. So that's definitely something worth talking about at the end of the day. So yes, awesome power-ups to Destiny Heroes. Also, very, very strong at the end of the day. Now, not really a crazy new archetype, but we did get a new Evil Twin monster here, which honestly fixed some of the problems for Evil Twins. And by fix problems, basically, once you've established the 2 monsters on the field, now you have something to link someone into. That way you can kind of play the game. So 2+ monsters, including an Evil Twin monster to make the new link for, which was fine. Quick effect, you contribute this card, special summon a Kishi Kill and or a Lilla monster from your graveyard. Well, what happens if I use both of the link monsters to make this? And then I can go ahead and quick effect, tribute this, bring out Kishi Kill Lilla, and, you know, both of them simultaneously. So they'll both trigger, right? Right. That's what you want? Okay. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard. You send an Evil Twin monster from your deck, alright, hand, or face up on the field to the graveyard to send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. So, well, send 1 from the deck to the graveyard. What does that mean? Well, they needed a way to drop the 4400 monster from the deck. So actually, basically, you bring this out, and then this wants to be in the graveyard. It's such a weird clause that the thing that Konami thought that this deck needed was a monster that banishes itself from the graveyard so that you can tutor for something bigger. So this actually fixed the problem of the big boss monster, like I said. Alright, just be able to quick effect, break this down. Next turn, guess what? Banish it. Go ahead and start comboing up through the bigger monster lines. And that's pretty much all you want to do at the end of the day for this deck is set up big monsters, gas to the floor, baby. Easy peasy. Alright? Lemon squeezy. And the last big one for this was Ecclesia, the Virtuous in White. Now, the thing that sets this card apart is like one of the craziest cards in this set is if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from hand. It's a tuner. Alright? You can only use the following effects once per turn. So main phase quick effect. Tribute this card. You can special summon as Xinyan or Fallen of Albas. Technically this is Xinyan support, but I'm putting it in its own subclass because it's a special summon, level 4 tuner monster. Alright? Gets the ability to lone fire into frickin' Fallen of Albas during the opponent's turn, in which, that case, you can go ahead and super poly away your opponent's board. Check. Alright? Easy peasy. Alright? And then at that point in time, you get the super poly. Alright? And then during the end phase, if a fusion monster is sent to the graveyard this turn, you have to add this back to your hand. Extender, the ability to lone fire Blossom, 1500 defense for spellcaster support, by the way. I think that's very important to understand that this is, in fact, stupid spellcaster support. Alright, this card is literally like support for 4 or 5 decks, all wrapped up into one card. Alright, Konami did excellent designing this card. And I do put this as like the craziest card in the set in terms of the branch points, literally, that it can do. It's actually kind of nuts. So guys, what do you think about what we're looking forward to most in Burst of Destiny. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Smash the living crap out of the subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today with some more cool, awesome content. You guys have a good rest of your day, alright? I mean that, truthfully. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out Vanquill40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by Vanquill40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcgames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.